Hey guys, welcome back to Fair Play Politics. You're here for my podcast, A Conversation with Junior Ezeonu, and I'm very fortunate today to have a great leader in our community, an attorney that does really good work here in the DFW area, Ms. Jeneba Barrie. Jeneba, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining. We're so happy to have you here. So Jeneba, we've known each other for some time.
Right.
You serve as a attorney here in the DFW.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be a defense attorney. No, you used to be a prosecutor in the DA's office. Now you're a defense attorney.
Correct.
Okay, so explain to me, I'm someone that works on the city level, city government. What are the major differences between a defense attorney, a prosecutor, working within the DA's office? What is that like?
So I am a former prosecutor, and I'm currently a defense attorney in, again, the DFW area. I practice federal and state criminal defense. So the main differences between being a prosecutor and a defense attorney, a prosecutor is to see that justice is done. Okay, when you stand up in front of a jury and say, my name is Jeneba Barrie, I represent the state of Texas, your job is just to see that justice is done. And it's a very unique job because it's actually in the code. That is our purpose as a prosecutor. As a defense attorney, your job is to diligently and vigorously represent your client. Of course, within certain confines, you can't do anything illegal.
Exactly.
But your job is to make sure that the process is really fair for them. And what does that look like? It looks like making sure the discovery matches what the police is saying or what the prosecutor is saying.
And please remind us what discovery is.
So discovery is basically all the evidence that the state allegedly has against your client.
Gotcha.
And so my job is to make sure that discovery is in line with what they're charging in the indictment, and to, discuss with my client what their options are, what they're looking at if they went to trial or if they took a plea, and the dangers about plea versus trial. So that's my job. And I often say I try to save my clients from themselves, because a lot of them, as weird as it sounds, a lot of them are not, they're not very educated in what the system requires or what the state has to prove, or they just do not have that. So you're an attorney and a counselor, and a lot of people forget that part. So my job is to counsel my client about the repercussions, and if they are not citizens, we have to talk to them about that. If you're not a U.S. citizen, this can prevent you from becoming a citizen eventually.
Wow.
If it's something like family violence, your limitations of possessing a firearm, if you're a convicted felon as well.
Yeah.
So all those things we have to, make sure our clients understand that. And that's my primary job right now.
Wonderful. So how long have you been a defense attorney?
I have been a defense attorney almost 4 years now.
4 years. And you served as a prosecutor for how long?
For about 7 years.
7 years. Wow. So what made you want to go from being a prosecutor, trying to lock up the quote unquote bad guys, to now trying to provide counsel and, support to people that some people are falsely accused. Some people are definitely have committed the crime. What made you make that switch?
Well, I was in a DA's office, and when I left, that was in a weird way. It was like the natural progression.
Okay.
Or, I could have gone into a private practice, in another field, but I did not want to go apply and be in another, district attorney's office. So that switch for me, I never really thought of myself as a defense attorney. Like, if you would have asked me while I was prosecuting, would I ever do defense, I would have looked at you and said no. But once I started doing it and having the impact in people's lives, you never know. A little act of kindness or fighting for someone, that is the most anyone's ever done for them. And they appreciate it so much, right? And so I remember my first year as a defense attorney around November, Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, and you're hustling to try to get people, out of jail or plea them out or something, so that way that they can be with their families during the holidays. And I remember thinking, like, wow, one day I was in bed and I was so exhausted from just, bless you.
Thank you.
From just, ripping and running and trying to get my clients, and I was just like, I'm exhausted, but I am so happy about, the dad that's going to see their child for Christmas, or, the mom that's home. And for me, that the more I do it, the more I like it. It's one of those things. I could have never seen myself as a defense attorney. I loved being a prosecutor, but each role is so different. I mean, with every role, you have to be, fair and honest, and there's a baseline for both roles.
Yeah.
But the more I help my clients, the more I'm just like, yeah, this is good. It feels right.
And do you ever feel like treated differently when you are now a defense attorney compared to being a prosecutor within the court? Like the judges, how do the judges treat the defense attorneys versus the prosecutors? Because the prosecutors are of the states. They're representing the state's position. The defense attorneys are the ones representing an individual, the accused. Is there like a difference in how the judges talk to you or how they treat you? Like, what has your experience been like?
Generally, no. And I know prosecutors are in much more powerful positions than defense attorneys, because believe it or not, as a prosecutor, you can decide within, of course, the limits and the code and the range of punishment, whether somebody goes to jail or gets probation. What kind of probation? Do they get straight probation, which is a conviction, or deferred, which, they can get a non-disclosure. It doesn't show up in public. So there's a lot of power there. But I say generally, the judges that I've worked with have treated me, for the most part, I won't say all judges, but for the most part, with the utmost respect on both sides. And it is different because as a prosecutor, you are assigned to a court or a division that has one or two courts. So you work closely with the judges on a day in, day out basis. And whereas as a defense attorney, I am in, Denton, Rockwall, the federal district.
So you're all over,
yeah,
all over the DFW. You're not just in Dallas County anymore.
No. So as a defense attorney, I'm in the Northern District of Texas, federal, and I'm also in Dallas County, in Rockwall County, in Denton County, Hunt County. So wherever my clients...
A lot of miles on that car.
It is a lot of miles on the car. So, wherever my clients need me, I'm there. So I've gone to different counties with different personalities, and you kind of know how each judge handles their docket, how each county operates. And so I would say it's interesting. I've learned a lot.
Good.
And overall, pretty good relationship with the judges.
That's really cool. And how long, again, have you been a judge? Been an attorney?
Well, I've been an attorney for over a decade, exclusively in criminal law. I'm not a judge yet. I'm running to become a judge.
You're running to be a judge. That is true. Okay. So I'm over here speaking it into existence.
I appreciate it.
A little Freudian slip for me right there. I love it because we need good judges.
Yes.
So that's really cool. So tell us a little bit about your story. Originally, you're from Sierra Leone, correct?
Yeah.
You moved to this country. How old were you when you moved here?
I was 8.
8 years old. That's so cool. I moved from Nigeria when I was 2. Yeah. So, we're similar in that same boat. Just tell us a little bit about your story. Like, did you grow up here in Texas or just tell us,
So I grew up in Freetown, Sierra Leone. It's a small country, the west coast of Africa. My family and I relocated to Los Angeles when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
And then when I was 11, my father was murdered. And I was the only witness to that offense. So in a weird way, that was like my first entrance into the criminal justice system in the United States. You saw your
father get murdered in LA.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And that has been, I know some people go through things and it changes them and it makes them feel like they have to lash out, which is understandable. Like, that's very traumatic. For me, it was more of a catalyst to do better and be better. And so that was my very first time in the criminal justice system. And his case is actually still unsolved. So we don't know who did it. But that has taught me a lot. I've built a lot of character from it. And I'm able to empathize and sympathize. So when I was a prosecutor and I had people, that have lost loved ones, I can hold their hand and look at them and say, look, I know what this feels like, right? It's my responsibility that, they are accountable or their justice is done. Whatever justice might look like, it's different in every case. So for me, I'm able to use that to help someone and say, hey, the grieving is not linear. Today you might feel great. Tomorrow you might not get out of bed. But I understand what you're going through. And so after he passed away, I was in foster care for a little bit. A lot of people don't know that. And then I relocated to Texas to be with family.
Gotcha.
And then I graduated from the University of Houston for undergrad. Go Cougs, we always have to do that. And then I attended the Paul M. Habear Law Center at Louisiana State University. So I received my JD.
LSU.
And go Tigers. Okay. And, my certificate of civil law, they have we have the most hours, I believe, when I was there, because they do have the Napoleonic Code. And
that is true.
We have a dual track.
You told me about this, and I was so confused. So Louisiana practices more of like the French legal system compared to the English legal code that we practice in most.
Like common law, yeah.
English common law. Like, explain the differences between the two. Like, just give us like an idea what that looks like.
Well, that's a really deep question, because they go based on certain codes. And I don't even remember, because I had to take so many of the classes to where you actually have a different sort of certificate when you were complete. So when I was in law school, I knew I wanted to come back to Texas. So we had, for instance, property law was different for Louisiana versus a place like Texas. Yeah. And they're very unique in that way. Certain aspects are just completely, it's like night and day. So the good thing about a school like LSU is like they offered common law classes for people that they knew were not going to practice in Louisiana.
Makes sense.
So even though that's their thing, their shtick, they also, it allowed people like me to come from Texas to study in Louisiana. I had a scholarship, so it's, so that kind of helped.
Save a little money.
Yeah, and the food is great.
They do have good food. They do have good food.
And I was like, this is good. I can get used to the food. But so it's different. We had to take more hours because of it. I thought it was pretty cool. I have a certificate I probably would never get to use. Maybe if I go to France or something. Yeah. But it's pretty cool. It was interesting. It was very interesting. And then, of course, when I graduated, I started my career as a prosecutor, and then I prosecuted for about 7 years, and then now I'm a criminal defense attorney. And then in this February of 2025, I announced my intention to seek election to run for judge of the 282nd Judicial District Court, which is a felony criminal bench here in Dallas County.
Gotcha. So explain to us why. We understand your why for why you went to law school, becoming a prosecutor, seeking justice for people, right? And now being a criminal defense attorney. Due to your father passing and you witnessing it, that was your entry point into the criminal justice system at 11 years old. So very tough. Why do you want to be a judge? What you're getting involved in politics now. Why? Why do you want to do this?
Well, so certain people do things for a title or for the recognition or for whatever reason. I am literally the most introverted person, and you would not know it communicating with me. So I'm not doing it for a robe or a title. I am doing it because, especially in this bench, I can make a real difference. And I know that because when you have judges that are well-rounded, they have seen a lot, they've experienced a lot, their qualifications, they're able to see people and treat them as people, right? I always tell people that I'm running because I know I can be just, I can be fair, and I can look at a case based on the facts and the law and free from any outside influences. I can make a decision that might not be okay for everyone. Yeah. The thing about being a judge is sometimes nobody's happy. Yeah. And okay, nobody's happy, but at least I've followed the law, followed the evidence. No one is unduly influencing me. And I'm respectful to people. And I think that gets left out. It's the human factor. Doesn't matter what the law say or what the facts are. If you don't treat people, as human beings, it's really hard to have any sort of respect or deference from anyone. And I think that a lot of times being able to communicate how you see things without making people feel like less than. Exactly. It's a very, very important, skill. Yeah. Okay. And being a well-rounded candidate, having been a prosecutor, a defense attorney, and having personal experiences with the criminal justice system, it allows me to bolster my empathy, my kindness, my compassion, and that is something that's needed of any human being, but especially someone that's tasked with passing judgment on people, everyday people, day in and day out. And also the idea that if you're having a bad day, you're going to rule in that way. It's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
What I believe is that no matter how rough of a day I am having, that does not come through to the courthouse. It has no business being in the courthouse. It has no business being or deciding how I choose to rule on something, right? There's a difference between, everybody has bad days. Presidents have bad days. Judges have bad days. But how do you control that so that it does not infiltrate into your job that you're doing? I have 3 young boys. I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And if you ask them why they think I will be a good judge, they will always tell you because she's kind and she's fair, right? And for me, that means so much. It means so much. And so during the campaign, we'll walk around and they will see people. They're like, "Mommy, you didn't ask them if they're registered to vote in Dallas County." I'm like, "I know, but it's not everybody." He's like, "But you're kind and you're fair and you're going to be a good judge. You need to, So they're so excited.
That is so sweet.
Yeah. So your kids are very brutal, and there's sometimes when they've told me some things and I'm like, Yeah. But those types of qualities, judges need to have those types of qualities. 100%. And for me, that is why I'm running. That is my why. And I know I can make a difference, and I will be more than excited to have the opportunity to serve the people of Dallas County.
That is so cool. And I'm glad that you have a why. That's something that I tell people about politics. We have a lot of people that run for office, local, state, federal, county, that just want it for self-aggrandizement or just for an ego boost or to make money. And as a result, the people of their constituents in their districts suffer because they have leaders that don't care about them, that really don't care, that just want to benefit themselves. And it's a lost art, but a lost quality in our politics in 2025. So I'm glad that that's what you're bringing to the table. Something else I'm glad that you're doing is you're a human being, so you're going to have a bad day. Yeah. Like anybody else will. But you understand that this job is bigger than you. So no matter what's going on at home, the decisions that I make, that you make, the decisions that you would make as judge can change someone's life.
Yep, absolutely.
Literally can change the trajectory of their life. And not just their life, because people forget that we're all connected. Nothing that we do is in a vacuum. Not just their life, but the lives of their kids, the lives of their grandkids, the lives of their parents, depending on their age. The decisions that judges make is vital. And unfortunately, judicial races are some of the ones that we just neglect on the ballot. Yeah. You'll see voters that come in to vote. They'll vote for the president, the governor, the Senate, members of Congress, and then the judges. Some of them just skip it because they don't know the judges. Yep. A lot of them, and it's hard. You're running countywide, right? Your race is countywide, so anybody that lives in Dallas County can vote for you.
Correct.
Got you. But a lot of people don't understand.
And it's a lot of apathy.
A lot of apathy because these races, there's not as much money being spent. Like someone's running for Senate, they're raising hundreds of millions of dollars.
Millions.
People that are running for Congress are raising millions of dollars. People that are running for president, billions of dollars. Right. So what are you doing different to try to connect the dots for people, to show them why your race is so important, but just why they need to get involved and vote? I know you're getting petitions to get on the ballot, and I know you're having events and you're talking to people. What else are you doing to try to connect the dots for the average voter?
So community is very important. Going to community events, of course, getting petitions, speaking to them, and you would be surprised how many times I go up to someone and say, "Hey, I'm Jeneba Barrie, and I'm running to be a judge." And they're like, "We elect judges?"
Exactly.
And so oftentimes I have to step back and say, "Oh, okay, yes, some judges are appointed, we are elected. Dallas County judges were elected. We're going to be on the ballot. This is when we'll be on the ballot." And just kind of get them to understand the time when you want good judges is not when you're in front of them.
Wow.
It's not when your family is impacted, or when your son, I have 3 sons, when your son, something, God forbid, something happens. That's not the time for you to research who this judge is. Now is the time for you to look them up. That's why everywhere I go, I have my literature. I cannot stop talking enough about who I am. I have my shirts on, my hat. I want people to know that I'm running. I take that very seriously, because it does matter who your judges are. It matters a whole lot. And it might not be a day-to-day thing that you feel it, but the moment you need it, it's too late to kind of question who is in front of you passing judgment, or your family members. That's not the time, right? It's like being in a car crash. The time is not the time to see if your seatbelt is on. It's got to be in before you leave the driveway.
Exactly.
That's how I put it to people. And just meeting voters one-on-one. Nothing beats the one-on-one contact. You shake their hand and say, hey, I'm running for judge. And I love when voters ask me questions. And one of the most frequent questions I get is, are you old enough to run? Right?
It's funny, because not gonna lie, I ain't gonna discuss. I'm not gonna disclose your age. That's not my job, and I don't ask women what their ages are. Right. But the thing is, seriously, you look like you've been practicing law for at least 11 years, and you look younger than me. So you're doing something right.
Yes, I take nutrition, exercise, hydration very seriously, and that it's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. So I do have that. I've had someone not sign. They're like, well, we need to know how old you are. And then I give them my spiel. I've done this. I've had experiences in this. And
he's like, did you start when you were 12?
Yeah. And then by the end, they're like grabbing the petition, like, okay, I want to sign. But it's that one-on-one and having a human connection and being genuine. People know when you're being disingenuous. People know when, the desperation is reeking off of you. I've been in circles with potential voters and other candidates and people, and you could just tell the shift when they feel something is not off or something is not right about a certain person.
People can detect when you're being fake.
Right.
And a lot of people are faking that run for office. That's just what it is. You can't say it, but I can. A lot of folks be faking it to run for office. And it's unfortunate because voters are simple. They want to vote for you because they trust who you are.
Right.
And you parading to be someone you are not does not gain their trust. They're like, dude, you don't even know who you are. Why should I elect you?
Right.
You don't even understand. You're still trying to find yourself while running for this office. And I should put my trust and, give over my autonomy, which is in that vote. You're handing over your autonomy when you vote in decisions that affect my life and my community's matters and affairs. No, because I don't trust you to even get in there and know what to do because you don't even know who you are. Right. So it's important. I'm glad that you lead with your authenticity and you're just being a genuine human being because that's what people want, especially right now. People are tired. Very, 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 very
exhausted. Actually,
exhausted when it comes to fake politicians. People just want real people, and that's what we need. If we had real people. You're a mother of 3 children, an attorney in our community. Real people that have not been in politics their whole lives, or real people that have not, just centered their life off of just running for office or whatever. Running for office and getting elected. I have no problem with those that are career politicians. There's a lot of good career politicians, but there's also some bad career politicians. But either way, we need real people getting involved that have investments in this community. Their investment might be their family, might be all the time that they've poured into this community as a community volunteer, as a HOA board member, as a PID board member, as a whatever, PTA active person in their kid's school. Whatever. We need real people. So sorry for that tangent. But when you said that, it really spoke to me because that's what I see on a day-to-day basis.
Right. And being approachable too.
Yeah.
That's so, I cannot tell you how many times people have a conversation with me and then at the end they're like, wow, you're so easy to talk to and approachable. And I'm like, that's not, I thought that was normal.
It's not. It's not.
I thought it's normal to go to someone, have a connection, speak to them in a way that you both understand. And then it's like, okay, that was fun. It wasn't like pulling teeth to get information. You're not hiding the ball. You're just who you are. And I take pride in that. Look, when I go home, I'm just a mom, right? I have people that are pulling at me. Somebody wants their juice box. Somebody wants the remote. Somebody wants the iPad. We have to go to piano lessons. I am a normal human being, and I do not want people to think, oh, because I'm running for office, you cannot approach me and ask me questions. You know, if there's something about my candidacy, you have questions about clarification, I love that. I love when people just ask me honest questions and I can take my time and explain to them. So that way, again, you're saying they're giving away their autonomy when they're voting. Yeah. So when they're voting with confidence and they're like, okay, yeah, she listens. And I say this, I cannot say this enough. Listening more than you speak is such an understated quality. It's so important because when you're listening to someone, you're getting data. And that data is going to navigate you. A lot of people will tell you how they are or how they operate if you just listen. So I pride myself in listening more than I speak to. That's also very important for someone trying to be elected in a countywide or in any level of politics. Yeah. But especially when you're dealing with people day in and day out. Every single day you go in, you're dealing with members of the population. You need to be able to sit down and listen to them. Because I will tell you something, practicing on both sides, there are times when someone's story sounds incredible. Yeah. You're just like, there's no way. No way. And then you dig, you listen, you dig. You're like, that really happened. Oh my God. Yeah. Right. Stranger things have happened. So when you listen to people and you get the whole story, you're able to make better decisions. And that's good for everybody.
That's right. You know, they say God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yep, exactly.
My parents always listen.
That's an African parent trait.
My dad.
Am I speaking?
So no, definitely. Like, it's so important. And I've noticed that in my political career, listening is paramount. I mean, if you just sit back and let people tell you what's going on, you'll learn so much.
So much.
And through being a good listener, you can be a good leader. But if you think you know it all, if you think you're the king and you're God's gift to humanity, you're the chosen one, as our president has stated. If you think you're like that, you lose the ability and the opportunity to truly make an impact. Because the impact is made when you sit down, you listen, and then you work for the people.
Right.
You serve the people. For in your instance, it's gonna be you just have to serve fairly, fairly with ethics and morals. That's all people need. And I ask you this, you know, we're in November of 2025, November of 2025 right now, and you're saying that this is who you are as a candidate. I ask you, future Judge Barrie, to please maintain that, because far too often we see people get elected and they become that position that they are.
Right.
Like that becomes their identity. I tell people, don't call me councilman, please. Call me councilman at City Hall. Outside of City Hall, I'm junior. Please, I'm just junior. Don't call me mayor pro tem. I'm just junior. At City Hall, mayor pro tem, fine. That's cool. Yeah. Even at that, I'm like, just call me junior. Right. Because these positions are all temporary.
Yes.
These positions are very temporary. We are here for a temporary period of time to make the biggest impact that we can make. We thank God for giving us the opportunity to serve in whatever capacity he's put us in. But we're here temporarily to make as much impact as we can make, to improve as many lives as we can make, and then pass it on to the next generation of leaders.
Right.
That's it. So don't get married to a title. Don't get married to a position. Don't get married and have this become your identity, because it's hard. It's very hard. Having a power, being in elected office is a sweet job because you have authority. But with that authority comes responsibility. And with that responsibility comes the other responsibility that you have to prepare other people to take on this mantle once you're done. Because you can't die in it. You can't live you can't serve when you're dead.
Right.
Someone may beat you one day, or maybe you just have to retire for health issues. Who knows?
Right.
Prepare that next generation of leaders. So I just say that to say, I appreciate you, the work that you're doing. I just ask you to maintain the way that you look at the issues and the way that you look at serving, because it's service.
It is service, very much so.
100%. When with that being said, Jeneba, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I would
is
like,
fun.
yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I'd like you to leave us with, just some words of advice for that young girl that, I mean, your story is incredible. Your story is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I thank God for you, who you
Thank
are,
you.
and who you become in our community. But for that young girl or that young boy that dealt with a major tragedy early on in their life, but they have aspirations and dreams to do something big. Being an attorney is a humongous job.
It is.
It's
it
humongous.
feels heavy sometimes.
It should, because
Yeah.
you're dealing with people's lives, especially a criminal attorney.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for them to keep going and defy the odds? What would you tell them?
I mean, you just have to have a lot of grit. Have a lot of grit. And sometimes I think if I can make 8 and 11-year-old me proud and 80-year-old me proud, I've done my job, right? So every time you're taking action towards your goal, your dreams, think about it. Would 8-year-old and 11-year-old me, well, in my position, because those are very vital times in my life, would an 8-year-old me and an 80-year-old me both look at you and say, I'm happy? And every time I wake up, I love my life. I absolutely love my life. But it doesn't happen just by happenstance. You have to plan and build a life that you just are genuinely happy in, that you do not have to escape from.
Yeah.
You have to have a life where you're so fulfilled within yourself, you do not need outside validation.
Gotcha.
Because that outside validation, once people stop clapping for you, you're going to feel it. And I've always been in that way very self-sufficient, that I'm okay with myself. I'm okay with who I'm becoming. And I treat everybody with respect, and I treat everybody with the decency and as just human beings, right? So my advice is create a life that you will be proud of living every single day. And as long as old you and young you are proud of you, that's all that matters. And make sure you treat people like people with respect, because you never know what someone is going through. And you could be that one person to push them over the edge, or that one person to bring them back down to reality and have them buckle up and do what they need to do to survive the next day or decade. So be mindful of how your words and actions could actually affect other people. And everybody's responsible for their own thoughts, their own feelings, how they perceive things. But there are some people are different from others. Just be very mindful and just build a life that you're proud of every day and you love. That's it.
Wise words from Mrs. Jeneba Barrie. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your work in our community. Thank you for speaking up for those that can't speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. And thanks for coming on the podcast. Hope to see
Thank
you
for
again
having
soon.
me. I appreciate it so much. Thank
Definitely.
you.
Most definitely. Happy to have you. And thank you again, guys, for tuning in to a conversation with Junior Ezeonu. I don't even know what number this one is. I'm just so grateful for all the support y'all have been giving us and giving me. Please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing y'all soon. Take care and God bless you. Bye.